Is the Fed going to be considering some of the same things and thinking about this beyond the transitory discussion today and tomorrow?
Most certainly. Whether the Fed actually tips its hand explicitly regarding what it's going to do is a whole other question, and all ears are on the press conference following the FOMC meeting to see, in fact, whether they do that and how they do it. But you can be very certain that this Federal Open Market Committee is going to be very intent on looking at data, particularly the incoming data, and determining the extent to which they need to begin the process of communicating a tapering back of asset purchases.
Yeah, I mean, we can, and certainly we will in just a second, but get into the discussion around interest rates and dot plots, et cetera. But I saw a note this morning from a strategist basically said the emergency is over, so why do we still need emergency levels of stimulus from the Fed right now? And we just got some key numbers where housing is concerned. We certainly see that on fire. I mean, when you think about $120 billion in bonds and mortgage-backed securities still being bought every month, is the taper talk at this point overdue?
Right. Well, this is obviously what the Fed is going to need to be grappling with right now. But we have to keep in mind that they keep their eyes on their so-called dual mandate. I mean, they are looking at price stability, but they're also looking at the employment side. They've got two big macro goals to be focused on. And at this point, their determination is that they still need to keep the pedal to the ground in order to keep the economy moving in a way that's going to be promoting a more fulsome, comprehensive, inclusive economic growth. So they're looking at macro indicators as well, and they're determining the extent to which they need to keep their eyes on those goals before they start to communicate something that could potentially actually create a bit of a taper tantrum. They need to be very careful that they don't do something precipitously to tip their hand into showing over concern. So they've got a bit of a balancing act, as usual, to kind of convey, and that's really their challenge at this meeting.
Hey, Sarah, it's Scott. Good morning. It's nice to see you. I'm glad you brought up the dual mandate, because one of the criticisms, and we heard it yesterday from Paul Tudor Jones, was that the Fed, you can throw that out the window because they really have now a single mandate, and it revolves all around employment. And that's what Jake Powell cares about first and foremost, and maybe forever, more than anything else. How do you answer that?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I think that the Fed obviously needs to communicate that they are keeping vigilant about inflation. That is still, price stability is still an explicit statutory mandate. There are people, there are households, businesses who care about price stability. Inflation expectations are very important. And the Fed doesn't want to do anything that is going to unhinge them, make them kind of sort of let the genie out of the bottle. So I think that they are paying quite close attention to the way prices are moving as well.
Let me just ask you directly, do you think inflation is transitory or not?
Well, I do think it's transitory. The question is, what's the definition of transitory, right? How long are these price jumps going to persist? And you really need to go sector by sector in order to give an appropriate answer there. And I think we'd have to look at various parts of the economy: gas prices, home prices, food prices, travel, airline prices.
Up. I mean, you're pointing out all these things are up. Up, and up.
Right. And the question is whether there are explanations for that up, and up that would indicate a more temporary nature, right? So, for example, car prices. Car prices are up, and there's another factor at play, which has to do with semiconductors, right? So if you have particular bottlenecks in terms of supply chain issues, you ask yourself, okay, how long is that bottleneck going to persist? When is that relief of the bottleneck going to translate itself into a price that is going to be a different price, a lower price than what is currently confronting consumers?
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.